welcome to the program 7 Politics with Austin Beatrice Sinner. A lot of issues to be discussed within the political play in Nigeria ahead of the 2023 general election. The matter is between Nigerians and their fate and their decisions ahead of the 2023 poll. How they want their destiny to be. What will be their decision? We want to look at the chances of the various political parties. We've seen a lot of parties emerge. In fact, according to INEC, about 18 political parties are there in the play. But we are seeing majorly 4 in the forefront of the political play. What are their chances? Joining me to discuss all of these issues today is a young man, a young Nigerian, a very active one, in the person of Mr. Ike Kindness. Mr. Ike Kindness is a writer, a business, and media strategist. Mr. Ike, thanks for joining me in the program today.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's get it straight.
Right.
I want you to react to, of course, trying to meet up with the INEC deadline. We've seen parties, the issue of placeholder is now passed because parties have submitted, for those, PDP already submitted theirs, or Okowa making a choice, and then we saw placeholders by Labour Party and then NNPP. But now, the whole issue of placeholder is passed now because the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a few days ago has submitted his substantial candidate in the person of Kashim Shettima, the former governor of Borno State. Initially, it was speculation on Muslim ticket, but now it's confirmed. A lot of reactions in Nigeria, but let me get your take on that.
Well, before the primaries, there were permutations that there was going to be a Muslim ticket for Bola Ahmed Tinubu. In fact, one of the aspirants at the time said he would be stepping down for Sibanjo because he didn't want a Muslim ticket. You know, it was dismissed by the team of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That it was just speculation. There was no substance in it. But the people that knew there were already such arguments being made by his team. And then I wouldn't say I was surprised that he picked a Shettima or that he picked a Muslim to run as a running mate. I mean, for the APC and for Bola Ahmed Tinubu, it's all about the numbers, and he's just finding ways to win the elections. So I believe he went with a Muslim ticket, but maybe from his own calculations, he thinks that he'll be able to convince more Christians to understand that he would be able to convince Muslims to vote for.
You mentioned earlier that you were not surprised.
Yeah.
So why were you not surprised?
Because if you recall in 2015, Tinubu was supposed to be the running mate to Buhari. Okay. He made such suggestion for a Muslim ticket, but Buhari turned it down. Okay. Yeah. So if he could make such suggestion to Buhari in 2015, there was nothing stopping him now as a candidate from picking a fellow Muslim as a running mate, and also maybe from his political calculations, and maybe based on the precedent of the 1993 elections, that 1993 elections, he believes that so there could be a repeat of such, and then he would win regardless of the fate of the candidate he picks.
Well, a lot of people have said that, because he came out to say he picked Shettima based on competence, and then Nigerians have said, are you saying that in the northern region, there is no northern Christian that is competent enough
to be the
vice? All right, so those are issues that have been on the plate. And then secondly, you remember, before this whole thing came on board, all right, there were speculations that, in fact, the TSO, that the Tinubu Support Organization, actually recommended the governor of Kaduna State, Nancy El-Rufai, all right? And if you look at it because you talked about making permutations and calculations, of course, which he feels like choosing Shettima will give him a larger number, since politics is a game of number. But the Northwest, considering majorly the KKK state, that is Kano, Katsina, and Kaduna, they constitute about 24% of the total vote Why the Northeast, where Shedima is coming from, is about I think 10 or 11% of the total vote. So well, let's see how that is going to play. But let me draw your attention also to the fact that Nigerians are saying Nigeria is a complex state,
Of course.
a multi-religious state, a multi-ethnic state. In fact, some school of thought have asserted that maybe the reason why the 1993 election didn't come to play, or didn't actually, MK Abiola did not emerge, I mean, the whole thing was just turned down, was because of this whole thing that now you can't just bring a Muslim ticket, all right?
Yeah.
Because of the complexity of the Nigerian state. Don't you think, I mean, there is a bit of sense in that?
People say a thunder doesn't strike twice, but it seems that 1993, 2023, the coming 2023 elections, people are, speculating that could have a repeat, not just by Tinubu winning the election, but maybe a tragic event happening that he never becomes president. Wow. But before we, go on all those kind of prophecies and speculations that people are having, we have to understand that Nigeria, like you said, rightly said, is a multi-ethnic, multi-religious country, and we are still on our march to nationhood. We have deep suspicions of each other. Muslims are suspicious of Christians, Christians are suspicious of Muslims, Igbos are suspicious of Northerners, the Westerners, the Yorubas are suspicious of the Igbos, and all that. So I believe that on our march to nationhood, we should look at, exploring avenues for making everybody feeling, included. Yeah, included in politics. So, but with this decision by Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a lot of people are feeling alienated, especially Christians in northern Nigeria. We already know the history of northern Nigeria and maybe the persecutions that Christians in that part of the country are facing. So that decision kind of, solidifies their feeling of, that they are second-class citizens in their own country. If they could say that there is no northern Christian that is competent enough to be the vice president of Nigeria, then that's quite a damning verdict on a whole group of people. And I think it's a wrong decision. I think
okay, let me get your personal, as a Nigerian.
Yeah.
Let me get your personal reaction to that. What do you feel about the whole thing?
Honestly, I'm looking forward to a time when, in this country, such prejudices of where you come from, of ethnicity, of religion, are not considered for political positions. I'm looking forward to a time where these primordial considerations, take a back seat in our politics. But unfortunately, we are not there yet. Nigeria is not yet an ideal place. So I think it's a wrong decision. I think it's a wrong choice. I think for inclusiveness, Bola Ahmed Tinubu should have, considered probably maybe a northern Christian, maybe even, a northern Christian, maybe in the person of Babachir Lawal, or the current Secretary to the Government of the Federation for that position.
That means if Nigeria had reached that practice of democracy, where an ideal democratic system, then the issue of religion should not be a case,
of course,
to be considered. That's your thought.
That's my thought.
For advert placement, you can call the number on your screen.
And you can visit our website at www.7fm.tv.
7TV Nigeria.
7TV. 7TV. It's all about you.
All right, let's go to what we have basically today. We are seeing 4 political parties majorly in the forefront, even though we have 18 as stated by INEC, of course. But we are seeing 4 in the major play. Now, Nigerians are facing a lot of challenges. Talking about precarious security challenges or bedeviling the country, talking about hunger I mean, the high rate, the price of foodstuff particularly seems to be going up every day, and all of those issues. Then also the issue of food scarcity has been there. 4 political parties are coming to play. What are their chances is what we want to be looking out for. What are they bringing to the table? Let me even ask you, do you have a preferred candidate?
Of course. I think at this point, for any enlightened Nigeria to say they don't have a preferred candidate would be a barefaced lie. I mean, all our candidates we all know what they represent. So yeah, I have a preferred candidate.
Okay, before you tell me your preferred candidate, of course I'd like to hear that from you. What should Nigerians be looking out for? The election is coming on board.
Yeah.
Different school of thought. What basically should we be looking out for?
Yeah. So we've gone on with the PDP for 16 years. The APC have come on under Buhari. We've gone for 8 years. We've seen what they've offered us. If the PDP did a very bad job, we've seen that the APC have done a poorer job. Okay. So personally, what I think is that Nigerians should at this time consider a person that that is farthest from the establishment, from the political establishment, whose election would disrupt the political establishment the most. Because we've tested both of them, the PDP and the APC.
The APC has come out to say that where they are leaving Nigeria, they met Nigeria as a worse state. Of course, so they have actually brought Nigeria to a better state now. That is what they've been. And of course,
I don't think ordinary Nigerians agree with the president, because obviously we are in the streets. We go to the markets to make purchases, and we see that the things that we bought for 15 naira in last year, yesterday, today is going for 115 naira. So the inflation is affecting everybody. So the president can maybe stay on his high horses and thinks he has done excellently well, but no. The words on the streets, what the people are feeling out there is totally averse with what the president is saying.
Remember also this regime, they actually, minimum wage was about 18,000, I think, or so. Yeah. But in this current regime, you have it at 33.
So if you're considering minimum wages at 2015, minimum wages at 2015 was 18,000, yeah? And then the Buhari administration increased it to 30,000. But what was the exchange rate in 2015? The exchange rate 2015 was 150, 180, and as of 2015, a dollar was just about 180, and then Buhari comes in, and then a dollar is trading at 600, 605, 610. So the purchasing power of Nigeria of 18,000 as of 2015 is even higher than that of 30,000 that we have today. So they've decimated the naira with bad policies, to the extent that if you take 30,000 naira, okay, the prices of everything have gone up. What you pay for transportation in 2015, if you paid 15 naira, today they're going to charge you 3 times that price. So if when you were earning 18,000 naira, you're spending 15 naira on transportation, and today you're earning 30,000 naira, and you're spending more than 15 naira on transportation. If you do the mathematics, your salary was the minimum wage was increased by about 85%. Well, you see that inflation have gone as high as 300%.
All right, Mr. Kindness, let me take you back to 2019. After the presidential election, of course, we saw that there was a bit of people were willing to vote because they felt were tired of, the incumbent leadership, and then we want to go forward. All right. But after the presidential election, which PDP lost to the ruling All Progressive Congress, we discovered that in the subsequent election, there was a bit of voter apathy. People didn't go to vote for the gubernatorial election, and that was it was highly recorded. This is another chance for Nigeria 2023 election. Yeah. What should Nigeria be looking? Because if you go out to the ordinary man in the street, he will tell you, well, my vote is not even counted.
Exactly.
So what should these people know? Because Nigerians are listening to you right now. They want to. What should they know? What sensitization should they get?
Nigerians should understand that if your vote doesn't count, the politicians wouldn't seek to buy them. Because no matter how much rigging is done, they also need the valid votes. If enough people don't come out to vote, then it becomes harder for them to, rig the election. So I think Nigerians should understand their votes counts. Their votes count. It's just like a drop in the ocean, but when more people come out to vote, it becomes harder for them for rigging to take place.
How do we convince the ordinary man in the street who is faced with hunger? I met a woman last time. She said, "Me, I'm not going anywhere to go and vote. If I leave this place, my business is going to suffer and all of that." How do you convince such kind of people?
I think that's one of the responsibilities of INEC,
Okay.
and I think with some international bodies, they've been doing a good job by involving artists and celebrities, sensitizing the people, doing shows for free, and then your tickets to the shows are your PVC and all that. It's a good thing that is happening, and I think also the candidacy of one of the aspirants has also buoyed some people, made people to really actually want to come out to vote. So I think what stations like yourself and other TV stations should do is to have programs that are dedicated to encouraging Nigerians to go out to vote.
That's why you are here. Okay, let me get to here. I said earlier, what are the chances of these 4 political parties? Some of them have verbally said their manifestos, because like the candidate of the Labour Party last time was saying, people are demanding for a written manifesto, but he has been talking. What are the chances for these guys, considering the state that we find ourselves?
The 2023 elections is going to be an interesting watershed in Nigerian politics as far as I'm concerned. Some people are saying it's going to be a repeat of the 1979 elections, where there were also 3 major, contestants. Personally, I believe, and I am happy that there's now a third force, a serious third force in the Labour Party and the candidacy of Peter Obi. I think it's going to...
It's fourth.
Well, I still think that the NNPP is somewhat regional for now.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's somewhat regional. They may do some good numbers in Kanu, but I don't see them doing so well beyond Kanu and probably Gombe State. So, the Labour Party's Labour Party is more nationalistic. I think they are doing well capturing the middle belt, the southeast and south, and they could do a few good numbers in the southwest. So I think while the reigning all progressive Congress have a chance to win the elections because of their incumbency, they could use the power of incumbency.
You think it's the power of incumbency? Because Bola Ahmed Tinubu has made a statement, I think yesterday, when he went for a campaign in one of these states, he said the Labour Party, he said let them keep laboring, they will labor in vain. He said the Labour Party and the PDP, they are mushroom kind of parties.
So
he said that seems to deplete, confidence.
Of course, because, if what we're hearing is true, of course, he has the backing of the federal government. They have a huge pause. I think a few days to the elections, they've already started trader money, sharing trader money.
Mind you, the president has said he's not going to interfere in the election.
Yeah, I think in that regard, Buhari has done quite well because he has not actively involved himself in most of the elections, and some of his party members are not happy about that. So on the chances of the APC, I think the APC would, regardless of the candidate they've picked, they could do a good number in the north. But I also believe that it could, because of the Muslim ticket, it would affect them greatly in the south, especially among southern Christians.
For advert placement, you can call the number on your screen.
And you can visit our website at www.7fm.tv.
7TV Nigeria.
7TV. 7TV. It's all about you.
You just mentioned that it's becoming, in fact, it's even a nationalistic, it's a very strong force that almost all parties see that the contest is no more between the APC and but one of those parties and the Labour Party. Do you see a chance for them I didn't ask you. You told me you have a candidate.
Of course, I do.
Who is your candidate?
I would say, like I said before, my rationale for who I'm going to vote in the coming election is whose election is going to disrupt Nigerian politics the most.
So who is that person?
I think you should know that if Labour Party wins this election, it's going to disrupt Nigerian politics.
So do you see a chance for them?
Yes, I do.
Are you optimistic that the Labour Party is going to make headways?
I believe the Labour Party is going to make headways, but I'm not even desperate for them to win.
Okay.
Because politics is a journey. The 2023 elections is a journey, it's not a destination.
Okay.
So if the Labour Party are able to gather as much as 5 million votes, remember it took Buhari about 15 million votes to win the last election, while the PDP got about 11 million votes. So if there's another candidate that's going to come in and get 6 million votes, that's a good. That's.
So it's no more about candidate. Candidate, but the party. But Nigerians have come out to say that they are voting the candidate, but not the party.
Yeah, because Peter Obi has shown by his track record that is capable of turning Nigeria around from what he's been saying on the news. People are listening to him. People are hearing directly from him. You can't say the same for the candidates of the other political parties.
All right, quickly, let's go. The youth have been in 2019.
Yeah.
Between the age of 18 to 35, according to INEC, you had about 54%, which are majorly youth, eligible voters.
Yeah.
And then 48, I think 46, and the others are 46 or something, 44 are others.
Yeah.
All right. How do we get, what is the place of the youth ahead of the 2023 election? How do we get the youth do the necessary thing, considering the fact that when it comes to targetry, when it comes to ballot snatching, like we saw in the election, all of these are being carried out by young people.
Yeah.
What is their place? What would be the role of the youth to ensure that the right thing is being done in the 2023 election?
I think the youths should understand that it's their future that is at stake, and he should. Recently, one of my nephews sent me a message on WhatsApp and said, "Uncle, do you remember in 2015, after the elections, that you were crying that your candidate didn't win?"
Oh.
I said, "Yes, I was crying because I didn't believe in the Buhari."
Who was your candidate?
It was Jonathan, of course. I didn't believe that the Buhari candidacy was going to offer us anything, and that on that day, I just added extra 8 years to my age at the time, and I was like, God, after 8 years, so I'm just going to be under this administration for 8 years. How old will I be after that? I think the youth, what they should do today is to add 8 years to their age. How old would you be after this? After the 2020, after 8 years? Add it to your age and ask yourself if you still be a youth after 8 years. Because it is your life that is dissipating before your eyes. It is your prime time. The prime of your life is basically going before you if you don't make the right political choices.
Even though recently we've seen youth trunking the INEC centers.
Yeah.
Trunking the INEC centers. Are you seeing a place for them? Because there seems to be...
I also think that the youth are beginning to realize this fact. And that is one of the reasons, you see the energy they have going to INEC to do their registration. But you should understand that registering and voting are totally different thing. While we encourage, the continuous voter registration, what we want to see on that day is to see this same energy on the election day. People should come out and vote for their preferred candidates, and I believe that the votes of the youth, if they vote, is going to make a whole lot of difference in this election.
All right, 60 seconds. Just comment on the Osun election that is coming up. All right, we saw the Ekiti election, and then INEC said it was a litmus test. Okay, the Osun election is coming up on the 16th.
Yeah.
Let's get your comment on that election. Will it come out transparent? Because we saw the election that there was allegation of vote buying and vote snatching, ballot snatching, and all of that.
Yeah, I think Nigerians should understand that if you sell your votes for 5,000, you cannot demand 5,000, 10,000, 3,000. You cannot demand accountability from politicians. They've basically settled you. So for this upcoming election in Osun State, I would advise that nobody should sell their vote. Vote for the candidate of your choice and go home. You know, and I also believe that the Labour Party in Osun State, maybe they're just going to take from the votes of the PDP, and then we will eventually see the APC still winning.
The business and the media strategist, AK Kindness.
Yeah.
It's been a nice time with you. Thanks for
Thank
joining
you
us on the
very much. It
program.
was my
All right,
pleasure.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, that's all we can take for the program today. 7 Politics. Join us sometime next week as we bring more hitting political issues. Austin.